Good afternoon and happy Friday, traders. This is Christian from Hertz, CEO of Tribeca Trade Group, with a quick end of day video for Friday. I don't usually shoot videos Friday after the close, but what a week it was, and just a quick reflection on the week. So let's start with the S&P. The S&P really hasn't been where I think the action has been this week. It's done great. I don't really trade the indices when the VIX is below 15. But just looking at what the overall market did, really kind of picked up some strength here. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Take a look. We saw this earlier in the week with the Qs and a couple of other different sectors. But as great as this week was, you just have an MACD crossover for the first time today. So, maybe we've got a little bit more run into earnings, which I'm going to talk about in 2 seconds. If we look at the Qs or NQ, we're above the value area. This is where I thought we might run into a little bit of resistance, but we've powered through. This was the MACD crossover that kind of gave us a hint this week that it was more than just a bounce. So, it looks like we've just cleared this area as well. We could be on to 5907, and which was the recent high in Nasdaq futures. So, this whole dip look like it's been erased and very quickly. So 143.90. Also, here's the MACD crossover. I'll go back to the S&P just for a second, because we do have an all-time high today. So congratulations. Is otherwise also why I wanted to point out point this out in today's video as well. So 52-week high. So, congratulations. We're not overbought on the daily chart. So next week we've got earnings. I think we could see, before the big heavy hitters report, we do have Netflix on Monday. We've got a number of other names that are starting. Netflix is Monday after the close. I believe we got more bank earnings. We've got BlackRock. We've got Bank of America. We've got Goldman. So besides, in terms of the technology, the FANG stocks, the only one that reports that's coming up is Netflix. So some of these other names, some of the other big tech names might see, a further run into earnings. We certainly, if you remember from last quarter, we saw the same type of thing. So, if we look at, when does Amazon report? Amazon reports on the 27th. I think Microsoft reports right around the same thing. They report on the 20th. So they're a little bit spread out, it looks like. That's the wrong symbol. The 24th. I think if you remember last quarter, they all reported within a day of one another, between Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So we've got a little bit of distance. So today's the 14th. Maybe we could expect a little bit of if you remember what Google did, for example, going into earnings. Let's see, where could I find this? It had a big run up into earnings. I think Amazon did the same thing. It's kind of feeling like it's repeating right now. Where is it? There we go. You could see the move on the day of earnings, what happened, but in the weeks leading up to, we saw a little bit of a run into. So it kind of feels like history is repeating here a little bit. So we might see a further run into earnings by some of these names. Amazon, if you look at the chart, you got a little bit of resistance ahead of you. So I think some things may continue to run. But I don't think you want to overload. So I just talked about the positives in the market, in the major indices. The one thing that scares me quite a bit is the VIX going down to a 950. If you saw my video from yesterday, when the VIX was around, I think the VIX was around 1020, 1030 yesterday. Basically, when the VIX gets to be a 950, any type of a hiccup, any type of a headline on the news wires is going to cause a spike up in volatility. It's at a very, very low level here. So I would be a little bit worried of the last couple times that we've gotten to this level. It hasn't happened just as soon as we've gotten below 10, but it's been a matter of days, and we get a spike up in volatility once we get to this below 10 level. So that's what I would say I'm most concerned about, is that it's too calm right now. So this week was a huge week for TTG subscribers. Really took a lot of profits. You could see, just so you think, I'm not making this up. You could see all the profits that taken off a lot of positions. Put a couple of positions on for day trades today. VNTV. Some Under Armour I took for a day trade as well. But other than that, and a lot of my swing trades, BlackRock, which is breaking out, so took some money off the table in BlackRock, put on a trade in Bud, put on a trade in, the NRG was an absolute home run. I've got one small piece left in NRG that I put on Monday. August 17 calls, target for at $6. I paid 59 cents. That is a 10 bagger. Again, 59 cents take a target at $6. So I'm still letting my profits run in that one, but I just thought, $6 is a nice place for a short dated option to take some money off the table. Other names, Weyerhaeuser, Click. We've been seeing a lot of option activity in the semi space, particularly in off the radar names, not your popular name, not your real popular names in semis, but names like this, Click, Teradyne. There's a couple other names that escape me right now. Might have it in my recap, might not. Western Digital was a big name today. Just a ton of call activity in that name. Further, OLN hit my first target in that one, 70 cents, paid 53. That's a position on that I've had on for a couple weeks. I mentioned Under Armour for that one already. Bud Corvo has been another one where we've been seeing repeat call activity in HOLX. So I've got a couple names in the healthcare space that are also working out pretty nicely. TTPH, put this on earlier. This is a cash position, $8. Took a target in this one, 749. SPGI took a little bit more money off the table here, paid $1.50. Took a target at $2 today, kind of forced that target today. So, the list kind of just goes on and on and on. This was yesterday, just all profits being taken here. So, going back to this VIX, right? I think I moved more, not completely into cash, but, I did take off about about $10,000 in option positions and just slid them all over into cash. And it was nice because I didn't really have to force any targets, besides a couple small things like I mentioned that SPGI, just natural things, moving up like Budweiser, just kind of grinded higher all day today. So that's kind of what my feel is for next week. Once we do get into the heart of earnings season, I'll go over that in the weekend video, but we do tend to kind of chop around. The overall market tends to chop around once we get into the heart of earnings season, which we're going to get into next week. So again, I'll talk more about that in this weekend's video. One thing that I don't talk a lot about in these videos, which, I wanted to stress is, I think, for those who have not joined Tribeca Trade Group, who have not given it a try, half off the first month. So, we charge $129 for all of our services, which include a lot. I think it's more than anybody else puts out there, honestly. So you could get involved for about $65 for your first month. You could get our weekend. You could get our weekend newsletter, which we're going to have two this weekend. We're going to have the normal macro newsletter where I look at my the whole market view, and then our separate names to watch off of aggressive option activity, names that I really want to focus on for next week. So you're going to get both of those if you sign up today. And then the usual stuff where you get an all-day live trading room where you get the most aggressive option activity, which has worked extremely well this week. And there sure has been a lot of it going on the last couple days. So it's been a huge amount of option activity. So so that's it for today's video. Check us out again, Tribeca Trade Group. Sign up, use the coupon code TTG to get half off the first month. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.